Yeah.
Okay, so in the meantime, if we take down the old one, talk to GB and find out what sort of wording we might need to put on a sign, and then we can come back to you and let you know. We'll get the other one taken down.
Sorry.
Okay. Okay. Cycle racks. So we mentioned at the last meeting about possible cycle racks, and I spoke with the parish hall about possibly putting it out the front of the parish hall. It was pointed out to me that they've got drains running all the way through under the area that we were talking about putting in. There is a possibility that we could, and there's been a request, as you may remember, I think we mentioned before, that it would be nice to have a disabled bay available. If we did that, potentially there would be a gap where there is near the Jubilee Stone for cycle rack to go in that location. The parish hall had donated to it a few years ago. The thing that is behind me here. So basically they've got 3 of these which are buried up to about there in the ground, and then you clamp your bike to it as a cycle. It's like they have the heart-shaped ones, but these are just a basic use. So they were happy for those to be just used if the parish council wanted to. We have just to get an idea as to what the cost would be if we were to go down the route of using something like that. I had a quote which I've given from a local. Yes, that one. So the quote was to supply any materials and labour to fit bicycle security posts in the village green car park, and that would be approximately £135. But it was just to get members' view as to how you.
What, to install 3 of those?
Yeah.
It's really cheap.
Yeah. I would propose we do it.
Okay.
Subject to them knowing where they are.
Well, at least at the moment you can see where they put it because there's a trench. But yes, he will be made well aware that there's cabling.
National Grid again.
Hill Lane's car park signage. Oh, you've got.
Yes, I've got a quote somewhere. Yeah.
So while I find that, just to let you know, I don't know if it's on the agenda further on, but we have been talking to locals about the possibility of opening up and closing the gates on the car park. We have 2 local residents who have said they are prepared to cover certain hours. One local resident is basically happy to do a number of mornings, the other is happy to do the other mornings and the closing at night. So we do have coverage to start with. We would have, and then the proposal would be that we would need to put a sign up so that people know what the hours are, and the suggestion was something along the lines of what Owen's holding up at the moment on an A3, so double the size of that.
The only thing I just did wonder when I was there earlier on, I wonder whether there should be something on there, Brent Knoll Parish Council.
Yeah.
Because otherwise it looks as if it's sort of anybody stuffing up there.
Yeah.
So somewhere there needs to have Brent Knoll Parish Council,
Yeah.
down here perhaps.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Amanda.
I think we're going to run into a problem here because quite often, like I was up there the other day, 6:05, there were 2 cars in that car park.
Yeah.
What are we going to do if people start parking all over the place because the gates are locked? Because there are a lot of people up there before 8 o'clock. I mean, sometimes you'll have 4 or 5 cars in there before 8 o'clock, and there's nowhere for them to go. And similarly, late in the evenings.
Yes.
They're going to start parking all over Diamond's driveway, and they're going to get chewy over that one.
You go to lock it and there's cars in there.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, to be honest, if you come to lock it, there's cars in that you lock them in. And that's why the telephone numbers are on there to say if you need letting out, you've got to contact us.
But then somebody's got to be running that.
Yes.
I think we're going to run into problems with those hours because.
So what hours are you suggesting we should do?
I
who would cover it?
Don't know. I don't know.
Because these are the hours that the parish council said. Because we discussed it a couple of meetings ago.
I know.
And we changed it from 8 until 6 to being 8 to 4 and 8 to 9.
I totally agree. That's what we agreed. But what are we going to do if there are people parking, or people come up there and park in front of the gates, or because they'll get there and think this is the time I'm walking, and just leave their car somewhere.
So Amanda, I'm not going to pick on you, but I know you go walking up there. Is there a possibility if you happen to be walking up there and it's before 8 o'clock, you open it?
There is, but I couldn't guarantee.
Which is why I think if we have
Yeah.
those publicised opening times, if it's open earlier, great.
Yeah,
So
I totally agree. I just wondering what we do if people start parking all over the place.
Review it.
yeah.
Yeah,
I think in a way you're going to have to see how it operates.
Yeah.
And it may well be that if there are residents in the village who always go at that early hour,
they might be.
they
happy to
may
do
well be willing to help them. One
Yeah.
of the things that we're looking at doing is another estimate we've had come through is buying a chain and lock to go on it. We had a recommendation which we got from, I think, Owen, you've got the figures for that as well, which was about 50 quid for the lock and the chain from, I can't think where it's from now, one of the farmers, Knoll Valley, thank you. The reason we've gone with that as a proposal is because East Brent have a similar situation. They have had a problem with their chains and locks being cut off, and so they've gone for something that's pretty chunky and has resisted. So it was their recommendation is the one we've come forward with. The lock itself is with a combination lock, not with a key. So again, if there are walkers who we know who are wanting to be up there at 6, there will be nothing to stop us letting them know what that combination is.
That's a good idea. So we tried
But
it.
we would have to obviously have a list of who we've given the thing to, and it's not to be white. And if
Well,
it
we
started
can
being
change it.
if it started being abused, we change the number
Yeah.
on it.
Yes.
Yes, so we tried it.
Yeah.
And see how it goes.
And again, the people who've offered to help us with the closing have said they can't necessarily close bang on that time, but they would close it after that time. So again, it's like you were saying, as long as the advertised time is outside of those hours, it's
It
not a
doesn't
problem.
matter.
Yeah.
Are we going to pre-advertise this in the BKN?
Yes,
Yeah.
because if we go ahead, we've got to order a sign. We can't start doing the gate until the sign has been received, put up, and
Yeah.
we've put a publicity thing out there in the Brent Knoll News, making sure people know.
I perhaps wouldn't publicise the fact that we will give the combination
Oh,
to
no.
certain people.
No, absolutely.
So you can tell it's a bit further afield.
Sorry, say
You
again.
can tell it's further afield. I think most people go there after the village.
We put on the,
There are people that walk in the baker's field rather than go up the knoll that don't live in the village. They're driving from outside.
Yeah.
But then once the signs are up,
Yeah.
the first time they come there, they should then be
I
aware.
mean, it needs to be
And it may well be we put the sign up and wait a week or 10 days or whatever before we start physically locking the gate, so that people then know that's what's.
That's a good idea.
and I'm interested whose numbers, whose mobile numbers.
So at the moment is the chair and the clerk.
Yes.
I like seeing him going up there at 10 o'clock at night with other people.
Well, you won't, he'll phone you.
Oh,
won't
well,
he?
you-
Well, his hours, he doesn't
Yeah,
answer the phone
yeah.
at 10 o'clock in the morning. He won't phone you, he rushes in.
It goes in alphabetical order.
No,
it just goes in alphabetical order.
I've never been glad to be able to read in my life.
You're pretty safe there. Aren't you?
Yeah. And I have said to the resident who has said they're happy to close it, that we are not expecting them to evict people from the car park. It is not their job
No.
to have discussions with users. They just close it and we will deal with it.
I'm happy for you to put my number as a backup, not on the slide, but if there's a phone call, I can run up there quite easily.
They're quoting £69 for that. We need to get approval for the expenditure of that.
Is that for
£69?
the lot?
That chain of
No, so the
That's
sign
the sign.
sign is 69.
In A3 size, and obviously we will add Brent Knoll Parish Council at the top of it.
Yeah.
Brent Knoll Parish Council at the top and small
Please
three.
pick up your litter and your dog.
Should it be in red or a distinguishing colour to make it stand
What,
out.
I'm not even sure, what colour would you have a signage in? I mean, what,
Well, you've got
background
white
is
on
this?
there at the
Yeah.
moment.
It's like yellow, wouldn't you? Bright, sort of like a luminous yellow.
Yeah, that,
Isn't black and white okay?
Stands out.
I don't mind. I'm just asking the question whether it ought to be
What's our signage colour on the gates?
Black
We're
and
using
white.
it.
black and white at the moment.
Yeah.
So what, yeah, the new
So
dog
that's
stuff,
Mhm.
it's black and white with
Yeah.
the red
Red.
bit. The actual sign we've got on the front of the village green is blue, and it's not.
We're-
It's
No,
not.
there's-
We definitely don't.
No, there are punctuation mistakes on there as well, so.
No.
Could we not add on there as well, to pick up your dog litter and your dog mark?
Well, the more you put on there, the less it's going to be
Yeah.
there. To be honest, 'cause this is just we've got a sign up already saying they're parking at their own
I was going
risk.
to say that
They don't
one
want to
says,
have fine.
yeah,
There's
that
no
one
one
already
for
says on,
So we have got the other side that's got all the stuff about what they shouldn't be doing.
yeah,
This is literally just the
You don't want
the
to
tires.
the gate too much.
no.
Okay,
think
so
there was-
I'll now, sorry, Colin.
Yeah.
Sorry, one last point. I just think you ought to tell the bakers because they were
The bakers are well aware.
Okay.
They're working with us.
Okay.
I propose we go for that sign.
Second,
We'll just use that for now.
All those in
Yeah.
favour, yeah, do that. Okay. And again, I just found the thing here. So the lock is well, the chain is something called a Perry galvanised straight link side welded chain, which is £4.08 per metre, and the lock is a extra long shackle 50mm recodable combination padlock at £34.69 including VAT, and that's through Mole Valley Farmers Bridgewater.
I propose we proceed to
Let's
understand
second it.
Well, I'll do another proposal that I'll get it cheaper than that because
Okay,
I've already looked. If that's
excellent. If
all
you
right.
can, if you can get the same thing cheaper,
Yeah.
then
Where's
I'll be
that
happy
one?
that we just go ahead and.
Oh, is it?
Locks £5 cheaper.
Okay,
Well, it's actually the same.
so if members are happy that we instruct David to get the lock and chain, and we'll then get that sorted. All those in favour, please show. There you go. Thank you very much.
That's one we've already covered.
Yep. We just mentioned the unlocking and unlocking of Hill Lane car parks. That's covered. Annual parish meeting.
Annual parish meeting, well, we've got everybody lined up, we've got 6 people, I think now, Tessa and obviously Bob and the community shop and church, school. The school head is coming himself. I'm not sure originally when he was coming, but he is. Mike Smith is coming from the PCC, I believe. And the community shop is being represented by David Yates. It'll basically take the format of 2 years ago. I would ask people if they've got any questions for the panel. If it's a question that is clearly needs to be directed to one person, one individual, then I'll obviously direct it to that individual. And then ask for anybody else's comments on the panel. It's a bit like the sort of question time type format.
Would you mind describing what it was 2 years ago? Because I've no idea.
Well, basically what we did, we decided that there's lots of organisations in the village, church, school, community shop, etc. And it'd be a good idea for villagers to be able to come along and ask people who run the various organisations and parish hall some questions if they feel inclined. Now, when we had it, we had more people at that meeting than we've ever had at a parish meeting. I think we had about 80, which is amazing. And normally we get about 28, 29. So it was a success. We didn't do it last year because we thought if we do it every year, we'll lose this momentum a bit. Because now the shop's finished, we decided to go with it again this year. And interestingly, I asked our local MP, thinking that she would never be able to make it, short notice. She said yes, she would.
So just one additional thing with regards to refreshments and everything. How are we managing that between us?
Yeah, we'll do that soon. So Colin's doing the biscuits. He's
Yeah,
Colin's
it's making this.
Can we rely on Colin's drink?
No.
He's making it star shaped ones with Smarties on them.
So, well, I'm happy to help out.
In terms of council business, Bob will obviously read his report. I have in the past done something on finance. I don't intend to do anything on finance unless anybody asks me. But one of the things I would suggest, we waste an awful lot of paper at these meetings because I print off annual reports and stuff, and I end up binning most of them at the end of the evening. So what I thought of doing this time is sending round a board with people's names on it, and if they want to get an annual report or a set of accounts, they just put their email address down, and just tick the box saying we'd like one, and I'd go send it by email. If necessary, I'll even send it by post if somebody hasn't got an email address. But that saves all that heck of a wastage of
That's a
paper.
good idea.
You know, yeah, I think that's probably the best way forward. And we should take names of people and meet anyone actually. From an insurance point of view, we also know who's coming to a meeting.
And the thing I would say, I think we probably all, I think we'll give you more work to do, but I think for this year of all years, we should have something on the finances, because with everything that's gone through last year with the shop and the finances, our budget is, I mean, it went up considerably last year, we've had to put it up again this year, and I think there may well be budget questions. And we've got now in there the projector and stuff, so we can do an overhead
So what do you think,
behind us.
a PowerPoint?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, then you still not want to waste the paper, I think
Yeah.
you can just put it up.
It would just be bullet points.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just a bullet point.
Yeah.
Because if you put too many figures on a PowerPoint, people they switch off.
Yeah.
So you want to have something quite punchy, you know.
Yeah, one pager.
2 minutes.
Yeah, and that would probably come up then after Bob's
Yeah.
report. So yeah, that's okay.